Prestige custom shirt. Full collection available at Shopee and Lazada. Special thanks to the following: Crosscheck TV. Before we continue with the history, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell to be always updated on upcoming video.
Grey, the smoking Talisayan that murders the Texas. In the most gamefowl fights in the past, the Texas or the red gamefowl, often an imported American bloodline or cross, was the llamado in betting circles. Odds were always against the white-feathered rooster or so-called Talisayan. When matched with a Texas, urban legend has it that a Talisayan is a stronger fighter only during a full moon and the first quarter moon of the month, and that one should avoid fighting bright red gamefowl because the power levels are evenly matched for both gamefowl. Yeah, right, other nonsense included fight only with green or black leg because yellow and white leg gamefowl are luckier during this time. Some of the biases against the Talisayan have been expressed by pundits like slur against the bloodline. In general, off-colored birds are weaker because there are fewer of them. These gamefowl are chosen and bred by those new to the sports, and their breeding methods are lacked to solid foundation of proven and pure bloodlines, which are the base of most red birds. Off-colored birds are like regressive offspring and mostly unpredictable. Kung manalo Talisayan sa iyo, swerte mo. Uniformity of traits and genome stability is rather rare in off-color birds. Now everything is different. No matter the matchups, the Talisayan always is the sure bet, especially if the game farm fighting one already has a winning tradition. And more often than not, the Talisayan also get the lucky wins with that so-called last hit. Get really good fighting gamefowl and more than sure chance in winning with GREYS. GREYS or the Talisayan have had a resurgent winning streak to become the current dark horse sure bet in the most gamefowl circuit. Maybe it's because they now have the sweater and hatch infused in them to make them stronger and more relentless, and they infuse into a pure stock low GREYS and Harold Brown GREYS as foundation. Already known for the power heating, created a new kind of Talisayan with speed and quickness to boot to fight even better. Here is a short introduction to the bloodline of the gamefowl known as Grey, or in Filipino the former underdog Talisayan. The foundation of GREYS. Low GREYS. Around 1935 to 1936, Low named the fighting GREYS Low GREYS. In published Fight Club reports, he used to name his fighters Canadian GREYS. This was so he could remember that some of his fighters were Hanky Dean GREYS, bred in Canada for COL John Madigan. Low GREYS were yellow and white leg, all were straight come. They were exact same blood as the red Madigan Corettes. The Low GREYS were infused with O'Connell Albany under the Madigan Grey Cup. The yellow leg becoming more common with the white leg still expected. A later infusion with McNerney GREYS solidified the predominance of yellow legs over the white leg. Low crosses this a lot of his other good fowl and advertised and sold a lot of fowl. A successful cross was the Low GREYS to Madigan's Texas Rangers. This came dark leg. Therefore, if you have dark leg Low GREYS, the trait is due to Low breeding and not some other breeder afterward. Some Boston Roundhead was also bred into some matings. As a cocker legend have it, those Low cocks would wander for a mile and draw another cock into them and snap him in his living chicken. More than a bloody hill, they had the death hill. Really strong hitting roosters. Harold Brown GREYS. Harold Brown, who originated the Red Fox Farm, and the John O. Fowler were partners and developed this gamefowl. The strain goes back to 1937. J.D. Perry called them the perfect chicken, as Post Oak perfected the fowl even further. Some come blue leg just like Harold Brown Red Fox Farm GREYS or Post Oak GREYS. Harold Brown GREYS are also known as the silverback. colored greys in their purity, and simple called the silver greys. They are an excellent as pure as stock game fowl that can withstand heavy inbreeding for years or use as a foundation of other crosses. When you have a foundation blood that can withstand long-term inbreeding to maintain their purity without losing their vigor and other attributes that show how special in this line of greys truly are. These grey have the thump behind their blows. You can hear them cut their enemies. You will be proud to own a Harold Brown Grey as part of your gamefowl stack. The perfect Talisayan, regular greys. The regular grey is said to be the combination of three grey families: the low grey, the sweater grey, and the plain head muff grey. These three excellent and proven foundation bloodlines were improved by Freddie Wimberly, who received Colonel Madigan's gamefowl, who late in age gave them to Harold Brown and John O'Fowler, and are the basis of the regular grey bloodline and genetics. The grey feathering is a dominant trait, and an excellent bird to cross with the Hatch or Albany. These crosses are for that problem bird in a lineup against you. Greys from E.W. Law and Swearer McGuinness were perfected by John O'Fowler and Jerry Hughes. Regular greys come green leg and sometimes with yellow, silver duck wings and straight comb. They are medium to low stationed and are known for power and gameness. Breeders note that they are as powerful and dead game as the blue-face hatch. They will enhance any cross with other gamefowl, providing agility, dedication, and lightning-fast speed. Because of the similarities between the Harold Brown and the Law Greys, you can combine them with other bloodlines or other greys for genetic enhancement and stability of a strain. In action, the regular grey fight like a whirlwind in the air or on the ground. Most decent gamefowl will be hitting his opponent, but the grey has the ability to cut deep, being a power hitter, and not just strike his opponent. Other fighting fowl are not deep cutters, but when you get your hands on a really proven line of greys, you have a winner, whether a moon is full or not. Secret breeding technique: infusion of grey blood to maintain a bloodline. Cocking sage often say that inbreeding problems in pure stock or red bloodlines can be solved via infusion with grey bloods to restore the bloodline's vitality after so many years of inbreeding the reds. The regular grey is known for power and gameness, and its bloodline from a cross of three other superior stock of greys crosses. This is why infusion is a smart remedy, because it brings the new set of genes to somewhat rejuvenate and revitalize mental sharpness, health, and other traits of the inbreed red family. It is one of the best kept secrets among the old school breeders, but they don't want to talk about it too much. Another reason why most gamefowl breeders of reds strangely do not sell off their own greys. Other bloodline traditionalists, usually old-timers, who only fight with their own strain and seldom fought gamefowl that were crosses. These were dyed-in-the-wool line breeders. The gamefowl they feed are mostly uniform looking and uniform fighting birds, nothing special. Cockers of this cloth will exalt and vouch for the purity and authenticity of their birds, bloodline as well as their standard of competition, until others, smarter cockers, defeat their pure stock with smartly crossed, murdering gamefowl. Smart cockers of all knew better once they noticed that their strain is losing vigor. An infusion of grey blood into a red will be their secret technique to bring the vigor back without changing their general physical conformation. Of course, this is done as discreetly as possible because the crosses are believed to taint pure stock and undermine the breeder's reputation as provider of pure bloodlines. But today there is no snobbery anymore as far as infusion of bloodline into a stock is concerned. If the pure stock indeed maintains, it is done so a base bloodline when its identifiable and known traits can be used for infusion to either maintain or improve another bloodline. An outstanding specimen of a pure breeding stock commands a premium price to serious breeders. A pure blood sire bullcock can fetch up to $100,000 while significantly less for any of his brothers. Serious game fowl hobbyists are willing to pay the price to acquire the bullcock. Crossing a pure gray cock to the red hens will produce all greys, both males and females. Breeding back the gray offspring stag to the red hens will give both reds and gray stags and pullets. The resulting genotype will be pure red, although they are 1/4 gray, 3/4 reds in their pedigree. Thus, the infusion introduces new blood but does not dilute the core genetic bloodline to an extent that it becomes a different fighting cock altogether. The fabled gray Kelso cross. Like the sweater gray, the gray Kelso is one of the newer strains that promise awesome fighting prowess in the pit, combining power-hitting gameness, fighting smart like weaving and sidestepping, and not jumping up to meet an attacker, but waiting for him to land then launching its own air attack. The gray Kelso is an improvement of the two strain, with the gray as dominant genotype of 2.
Before we continue with the history, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell to be always updated on upcoming video.